Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. We are changing the world one woman at a time. We are waking up, bringing our presence to the planet, and bringing our gifts in a way that make lasting change. So I'm really grateful that you're here. I'm really grateful that you're in the subscription of the podcast and that you get to meet some amazing women that I happen to love. So there's one here with me today. Her name is Erica Teel. She's a multifaceted teacher, entertainer, and spiritual facilitator. She's been a student, instructor, and performer of improvisational comedy for over 15 years. She's received her initiation into this art form in a workshop led by acclaimed actor Alan Arkin. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. She embraced her recommendation that she should pursue her natural potential in this challenging yet delightful arena. So welcome, Erica.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for having me.
So I was in this class with you and Alan Arkin, and we all sat there in awe as we watched this star rising in the room called Erica Teel that had this natural ability that was so connected to being present in the moment. And when Alan Arkin said it out loud, we were all like, well, of course, she should be doing improv. So talk to us a little bit about your improv work, the development from that class to what you're doing now.
Sure. That very first class, when we were in there, I had no idea what improv was. So I really didn't, there was no Google back then. I was just invited to help bring some more people into the class so it would go. And so I showed up not knowing anything, and I thought, well, he can't ask us to do anything that he hasn't taught us, because most of us were new to improv. So I thought, I'll just relax there. And really, he just, he touched something in me that just freed me that weekend. I felt like I had waited my whole life for that experience. Being an introvert my whole life, I guess you are always one, but just being more on the quiet side and sort of thinking a lot of things and yet not expressing them, that weekend awakened something in me that let me know you can use your voice, and it might be silly and it might be funny and it might be serious, and it's still your voice. So open up to that. And that really, it just changed the trajectory of my whole life.
Yeah, well, and it was amazing to watch because I want to get more into what you're doing in improv, but I want to talk about before Alan Arkin because you've been a mother, a wife, and you really dedicated yourself to family. So talk about that because you were really in support of the awakening and the visibility of your entire family.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was very comfortable, and I still am in a supportive role. As you say, being a mom, it's just about lifting your little chickadees up and helping them grow and to fly and to be all they can be. And I'm married to a prominent figure in the Denver area, of a very large church, and being supportive of that so that he could be all that he could be and not worry about things at home. He didn't ask me to do that. It's just something that I naturally did. And so being behind the scenes was very comfortable for me. And actually it still is. And then this experience, this improv landing in my life, just allowed me to be in the spotlight, I guess, or be seen, and being okay with it, not trying to be too edited, looking too perfect, and all that goes around with the ego just going crazy. It has just allowed my spirit and my true self to come forth. And over the past 15 years, it's really had a big impact on my whole life.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's interesting about this. You had a connection to improv or acting or something at a young age, correct?
I had a love of it. I would see. I grew up on on a small college campus, and I would go to all the rehearsals of all the plays they would do, and all the auditions they would do, and all the rehearsals, and all front center seat every time. My sister and I would sit right there, and I think it was an early interest. My mom is from New York. She had this New York City background of Broadway and all of that, even though she was not an actress, but it seemed like it was in me, and I watched people grow in this, even though I was 7, 8, 9 years old. I watched people grow and come alive through the roles, through their mistakes, through their learning. I was just freaking mesmerized by the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, what I love about that is that, when there's a calling, it may not manifest in that moment, but when there's a passion that wants to be revealed through someone or something, the seed is planted. And so all these years later, here you are, and I went to see you. You joined an improv class and group, correct?
Yes, I did. I did soon after he left. I went and I joined I went and took some classes and at a couple of different schools downtown Denver, and it was a love-hate relationship for a while, 6 years, because I went from trusting my heart and it's Alan and he said just whatever, and then I went to, oh, we have to perform and make people laugh in my own head. Nobody told me that, just me, and so that really squelched that open heart with this for a long time. It was quite a journey.
Yeah, but you know what's cool about this? It's like, isn't this a metaphor for life? You have this opening and you feel connected and it's beautiful, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go in, and then your mind comes in.
Yes, with my mind has the biggest mouth. What are you doing? Stop, danger. Every time I drive to the theater, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And then I drive away going, well, it wasn't so bad. I'll go back next week. And then next week, what are you doing? So it was really back and forth for a long time. But I think it took that to flush it all out, because I kept going back. I didn't quit. I didn't even know why I kept going back. And I did. And that made all the difference, because I thought I'm just kind of missing the part where it's fun again. And so I was just kept knocking and tapping and crying and my way through.
Right. But what's incredible about this is like the next step is that you created some improv classes to help people get into opening up themselves and freeing themselves, right? And how's that been?
Well, that's been great. When I first started doing the classes downtown, my friends could not believe. Actually, the people at church thought, she speaks. They didn't even know I said much, and so they were very curious about it. And so they would come to see the student performances and such. And then they thought, I think, if she can do it, maybe I could do it. And they begged me to teach classes, and I was like, no. And then I did, and so I just wanted to give that experience to people, to help them through very fun improv games to learn to find their voice, to learn that making mistakes is part of the process. And in fact, sometimes those are the funnest parts. And to help them. And so I sort of got this class going, and I started teaching about a year after I took Alan's class. And it was very, very rewarding instantly to be able then to marry spirituality and day-to-day living with improv and the gifts that it does give. It's
Right.
just incredible.
Right. And people that I know who've taken the class said it's been transformative, and especially the women. It says that the ones that I've talked to have said that it's opened them up and helped them find their voice and help them have more confidence and more assuredness. And I know, you've spoken at my conference, and you've also, you and a partner now are going into companies now and working with improv, and how's that been for you?
That's been really interesting, because the first part of when I was teaching the classes, it was people that I somewhat knew. They were in my circle, and that went on for 10 years or more. And then stepping into a company where I don't know them, they don't know me, and am I still willing to show up and be myself? and to teach these principles that are universal. That was a stretch for me, and it's been very good. It's neat to see it help people in a corporate setting or in a board setting, and not just I'm going to try this out for the weekend and see what happens. So that was
Mhm.
another big step for me, and it's been very rewarding.
Yeah. So I would love for you to talk to the women here. What do you think women are struggling with the most in this day and age? What do you think is their biggest challenge?
Well, it seems to me that being authentic, about being okay with who we are as women, as having a voice that maybe no one else in the room agrees with, or no one can understand what you're saying, and you say it anyway, and you're true to it. And I think that finding different ways of doing that, either through different ways of speaking, of listening to what the person is really saying, being very present to the situation or to your friend or whoever it might be, I, and then offering that unique voice that's just yours, that they may not hear from anyone else, whether you're speaking in front of thousands of people or one-on-one. I think we were put here to be ourselves. And if we don't express it in our way, and of course we're always evolving, but if we don't show up and express it, then we rob the world from from us.
Hmm. Well, and it's beautiful because I've known you a long time. And I've watched you have many iterations of this learning and growing. I've watched you be a spiritual counselor. I've watched you become certified in human design. I've watched you build your improv business and to step out and bring yourself into the world, even though you're an introvert and even though it's been comfortable behind the scenes. It's really beautiful, and I want everybody listening to know that, there's not a quantum leap to awakening. There are steps that you take, and they're not always easy, but each one has its own rewards.
That's so true. And, if I could find the magic button to push to do the quantum leap, that would be great. And yet I know every step, as you said, matters, and every setback and every win, and they can be back to back to back to back. And it's just a matter of, if you know that's your calling, if you know something is drawing you towards something, then keep following it, because you will find the way in that is really right for you. I When I was starting to quit for the millionth time in improv, I decided one more time, I'm gonna eat God. Why do I keep being drawn to this? I'm not really good at this. I'm clearly not comfortable with this all the time. Help me, help me. And so someone had given my husband the book, The War of Art.
Great.
By Stephen Press. It's this little, and it will smack you. And and I just said, okay. And I just thought, oh, this is interesting. And it opened up to a page, and then it said that, to the very paragraph, it said, if there's something in you that you've always wanted to do and you don't do it, your soul will not evolve in the way it was intended to in this lifetime. I was like, well, that solves that. You know, I guess I need to go on. And at that point, I thought I need to just clear the slate of all past judgments, fears, experiences, and all. And I just need to start fresh. And from the moment I did that, everything changed. My teacher changed. A person taught me that I'd never been taught from before. The method was different. Just, and my outlook was just fun and light. And that's what I needed. And had I quit years ago, I would have missed this amazing path called improv.
Well, I, for one, am extraordinarily grateful that you did not quit, because I've had the experience of being in your presence and watching you bring magic to the room, and it's quite a gift. So I want to know, how do people find you?
I'm hiding behind this drink. They can go to my website, Improv Leap, LEAP, improvleap.com. And as you said, I started a business with my partner and teacher, Joshua Kirk, and we've been at this, I think, about 5 years now. So, and have really grown. We teach classes and go into corporations and do parties, entertain, whatever you need, we do it because it's all the same and always fun.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. So I ask this question of every guest. What do you want women to know, to walk away with about their awakening?
Mm. It kind of makes you cry, you know? I would say be yourself, and whatever connection you have to God, to spirit, to the universe, that's so important. Cultivate that, because it's through that the awakening comes, and then anything you want to do becomes possible because you've always got that groundedness of God within. That has been when you don't have anywhere to turn. God is always there, always there. And it came to me in meditation the other morning. I was wigging out about something, and it came to me that God has been there before I was born, is with me now, will always be with me now, with me in the future. And if I truly believe that, and if I truly have faith in that, what would I ever fear? What would I ever fear? And that just blossomed in my heart. So that connection with God and letting your voice be heard.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored that you've been here with us. I'm so honored that you're doing what you're doing. And ladies, I hope that you really have heard what she has to say. The universe has your back, is always lifting you up, is always nurturing you, is always guiding you. And the gift that you came to bring, there's a delivery system. So thank you, Erica Teel. You are amazing.
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you for always seeing that in me before I even did. And I know you do that for all the women's lives that you touch. Thank you for your gift. I love you.
I love you too. So ladies, please come back again and again. We're always adding new podcasts. You are a part of the awakening of this planet. In fact, you are essential. We'll see you next time. Blessings.